All right, I know that you know what you're doing. I know you know how to feed the chickens. I know you know how to water them. Um, but I'm just making a quick video here just to make it that much easier for you. And here's our messy garage. This, as you all know, is just where we keep the food. And I just grab a bucket every now and then. You know, fill it as, yay full. It doesn't really matter. And then you probably only have to do that every 2 or 3 days, but we'll always check the food just to make sure. All right, let's see what the food situation is in here. So that's pretty full. I mean, it's full enough. I'm going to add some just because I brought the bucket. And then this one I brought in two because the little ones are having some problems. So this just opens up, and then you can pour the food in there, and then you close it back up. But it's pretty easy, you know. See how happy they are now that we gave them some food? Okay, now the water, I have to admit, is not my favorite thing to do. So the water is in this container. I put that brick on top because they want to sit on it and whatever. It's a long story, but this is a little bit heavy. But I would just take this off, and then you have to take this off. This is just the plastic part of a plant that we got. And then, there's water in there. So, I have those rocks in there because they sit on that water, and when it gets empty, they knock it over because they're dumb. Those little red things that you see, that's where the water comes out. So we need to make sure that the water's well above that. I think at this point I would add more water. You can fill it to a couple inches below the top, and that would be perfect. Couple ways to do that. The easier way, I'll leave a gallon jug, and you can just fill it from the garage and then just dump it in. That's the easiest way to do it. And then when you're done, you just put that thing back on, put that paver back on top of it, and then you're done. All right, this stuff looks complicated, but it is very easy because you don't have to do anything to it. Nothing. That clicking, remember, means that the fence is charged. Don't touch it, it will hurt. Now here's the eternal question. Can we let the chickens out? Generally, I say that we can let the chickens out. How about say not any time before noon? We had a couple of animals come earlier in the day last summer, so say anytime after noon is okay. The only rule is if you let them out, you have to come back at dusk after the sun has gone down and lock them up, or they're all at risk of becoming a midnight snack. So just remember that. I know that you'll remember that. You can also just leave this door closed all the time, closed and locked. And just use this lock right here. And it works on a spring. I'm sure you've done this before. So now they're locked, they're locked in. It doesn't matter if you close that door. That can stay open at night. That doesn't really matter. The things that's keeping them safe is this spring lock and this electric fence. And here's the fun part. So they lay the eggs usually by the afternoon. So when I come by, I'll say anytime after 3 o'clock, even as late as 8 or 9, there'll be a few eggs here, and just whatever's here, take them. They're yours. I would recommend getting them home and washing them just in the sink and wash that off, because that's, this isn't the cleanest thing. But take those home and enjoy them. Maybe bring a bucket or a box or something and make it easier, or stuff them in your pockets. Now you might be thinking, this is pretty easy, nothing to worry about. And 99% of the time that's true. It's pretty easy. There are a couple of things that sometimes situations come up that it's just good to know what to do. One is when it gets windy, this door can blow shut. And if the chickens are outside, when that door blows shut, they can't open it. So they are pretty vulnerable, especially at night. So first thing I would do is try to prevent that from happening. And the way that I do that is I use this little piece of rebar. So whenever I open the door, just stick that in the ground anywhere, and then just like put it up against the fence, and it prevents the door from blowing closed. That's all you have to do. And then when you close it up, just move it out. So that's one thing. Let's try to keep the door from closing. If the door does close, that's okay. But at nighttime, you're gonna have to find them because they're dumb and they won't know where to go. If that happens, and it's very unlikely, I usually start by looking in the sheds, right? Like they could be in this shed here, behind the garage. They might be in those wood sheds over there. They might be underneath that. They might be in the wood pile. I would also walk around look underneath the porch, look underneath the deck. They're not going to be in the woods. They're going to be just kind of around the house and probably close to the house. And if it's nighttime, they'll be easy to catch because, again, I don't know if I said this, but they're dumb. All right, so a quick summary. 1, check the food. You probably don't have to feed them, probably every 2 days, maybe every 3 days. 2, check the water. Same thing, you probably only need to change the water every couple of days. 3, if you open the door, close the door. 4, if they do get out and it's nighttime, look around in places where they want to kind of be sheltered and not wet. 5, they are usually done laying their eggs by the afternoon. I usually start collecting around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or whenever I get home from work. 6, don't zap yourself on the fence, you ding-dongs. 7, enjoy the eggs. And thank you so much for helping out.